Okay, so today I'm interviewing Jess from MumUniformUK, and Jess was one of my clients a few weeks ago, and we're just going to have a little bit of an interview and see how the branding process went for Jess. So how are you doing today, Jess?
Yes, good, thank you. Just plodding on with everything. Always life's a bit manic at the minute. Good.
Yeah, just very, very busy. So we're going to ask a quick few short questions here. So first of all, the first thing is, Jess, what initially prompted you to think you needed branding photography for your business?
You did, actually. So I initially just needed, thought I needed some product images. So I had a new line of items coming out, and I needed some professional pictures of them, so I got in touch with a couple of different photographers. And when I spoke to you and you said about, have you thought about branding photography and stuff, and honestly I hadn't, because as you know, this whole business has been a bit of a whirlwind, so I hadn't stopped to think of a lot of things, and that was one of them. And then obviously you talked a bit more about it, and it completely understood all your points, and it made sense to go for it, as well as having the products shot as well. So
yeah, so we're able to do quite a lot, weren't we? We did both, really. Yeah. So before having the shoot, what did you understand about branding photography? What were your thoughts about it? Did you know anything about it?
Not really. I mean, I follow a couple of photographers on Facebook, so I think one or two of them had posted things about branding photography before in the past, and how ultimately people buy from people, don't they? So people want to see the face behind the brand. Gone kind of are the days of the big corporations. These days, with social media being so personal, and what it is, a brand can be really personal. So I think having branding photography, I didn't understand that much about it, but I grasped the aspects of putting a face to the brand.
Yeah, it's just only like a general idea, really, isn't it? Sort of, yeah. Okay, so how did you find the whole experience of you being photographed? Because obviously the branding photography is all about you, isn't it? So it's quite a new thing for people. How did you find it?
Well, I'm no model, and I don't like having my picture taken where I'm not in control of it. Well, I'm quite a control freak anyway, I think. So it was a new experience for me that took me out of my comfort zone. But having said that, you made it as enjoyable as it could have been. Yeah. And you really put me at ease. I was really anxious because I just hate being in front of the camera. So it was, and all my images that I use when I snap pictures of myself for just everyday stuff on social media, or I'm going to the shops today or whatever it is, are all, they might look casual, but they're all strategic lighting, or that day I've plucked my eyebrows or something. So it's so as long as I'm in control of it. So it was a new experience, but actually you made it really enjoyable. So yeah, thank you for that.
Oh, that's really good to know. We had a great time on the day, didn't we?
Yeah.
So did anything surprise you about the whole process, like from first contact to delivery of the images? Because obviously you've never done it before. So anything stand out, anything you didn't like, or anything that you really did like about it?
There was a couple of things that surprised me in a good way. The turnaround of everything so quick, like getting hundreds and hundreds of images edited and sent over in such a short space of time was really impressive. And then the amount of detail that you went into before we actually even had the shoot, planning everything down to the last minute. I know obviously on the day it kind of ran away with us because there were so many products, but actually having everything planned out and talking about, we had like mood boards and stuff, and talking about, asking about my brand, wanting to know what's your inspiration, or what are your goals, what do you want the business to be, and all that sort of stuff. it was so in depth and so thorough, and actually because the brand has grown so quickly all of a sudden, I hadn't had much chance to sit down and think about those things, but you made me, because you know, you sort of said, you know, we need to think about these things and how to portray the brand, and actually sitting down to think about stuff was, I found, really beneficial and really useful to do that exercise as well.
It's really cool, isn't it? Quite a lot of people say that they never think about when you're forced to do it and someone asks you for it and then you suddenly do it, but then you've got all that information there, so it is a really cool process to go through. So what was the best bit? Was there any best bit about having the shoot?
It was really fun. Like the whole day was really fun. Like it was just nice to have like pretty much a full day dedicated to just taking some really great pictures. Emma was a brilliant model, and I know you put her really at ease, and she said she loved every second of it. And it was just really enjoyable, and it was really exciting. Like, when you sent me like a sneak peek of a little collage of a few images, like, I'm just editing up now, here's a sneaky peek, and a few things like that was really good. It's really exciting. It was just all really fun.
Oh, great. Right, so onto the business. Can you describe how actually having the photos has changed things in your business?
So I feel like, because I release quite a lot of new products very frequently, so more often than not I have to just snap a quick picture of me in it, or of it like folded up somewhere or whatever, just because of the turnaround of how quickly I work and how quick people want stuff. Like if I do a sneak peek of an orange sweatshirt on Tuesday, they expect it to be released on Friday. So that can be quite difficult, and it can also make my images look, well, hasty, obviously, like I've not put that much thought into them. So having these images made me look a lot more professional than I am. And because we did so many products, I released those over like a period of time, which meant that for that window of 2 months or whatever it was that I gradually released bits and bobs, we had everyone who saw those images, or saw my brand, saw those images over a prolonged period of time. Which I think makes it look more professional. So then if I do start hitting them with a few selfies here and there, they're like, oh, well, it's okay because she is legit, you know.
Yeah. It's almost like that mixing pot, isn't it? Having something so you can do something immediate, but then you've got the solid images to carry you through.
Yeah, and then the other thing is having a business that's so focused around the person behind the brand wasn't ever something I had planned to do, or I'm not normally very open about my life on social media, so it's come as a bit of a shock to the system, but having to post all the time. But the Facebook gremlins like you to post consistently. You know, if you post 3 times a day one day, they expect it 3 times a day every single day. And having that pressure in the back of your mind that you have to post 3 times a day, you have to come up with some content, take a picture of your foot, take a picture of, you know, the view outside your window, like coming up with something to post all the time is really hard. And then I've got this huge catalogue of pictures from you that I can just, anytime I'm stuck, there's definitely something I can use in there and tailor it to whatever I want to post about that day. Like I actually used one recently for when I put the job advert out.
Yeah, I saw that one.
So,
that's one of my favourites. That I love that one.
Me too. So so I just used, like, with a couple of the notebooks and stuff that we'd sourced, and just typed on the empty space, we're hiring, and it was great. And it made, because it was a job post, it ended up going in a few groups that I'm either not part of, or that have got people who aren't familiar with my brand already, which meant that their first impression of my brand then was professional. You know, it made it look legit, but also that the images themselves were quite fun, but really clear, and it just worked really well. So I had quite a lot of people apply from other like local job groups, and that was the image that they saw. So they had quite a good first impression.
That's brilliant. That's just what they're for, isn't it? You know, it's really brilliant that you've been able to use them in that way. I'm delighted.
Yes,
Right, so there's just one more question. If anybody was, because you said loads of great stuff there, you know, that will really help other people thinking about doing the same thing. So what would you say to anybody who's sort of like on the fence, who's just thinking about doing it, is not too sure because there's a lot going on, they might not know what brand photography is. What would you say to them?
There's no harm in just having a go. I would suggest that at the very least they just have a chat with you, and see how you can interpret and represent their brand. I think on, you know, in pictures. I think it might feel like a big leap, but actually having that bank of images is just invaluable, because anyone who's got a business knows how much you have to post on social media all the time, and to have just something there that you can dip into whenever you're struggling or whenever you can't think of anything is actually really, really useful. More often than not, I think most people have found on social media, if you've got not a small business, but like if you're quite new to it, for example, and you post a lot about your products and offers and stuff like that all the time, and then you put in like the odd post saying, oh, we've had a bunch of new followers recently, thought it's a good time to tell you about myself, and you plonk a picture of you, that more often than not will do better than any of your posts about your products, which is really annoying because you want people to buy your products. If you would deliver a service though, people want to know the face behind that service. If you deliver any sort of personal service, I don't know, personal training or styling or any sort of consultation business, then people really want to see your face there. And like, anyone can potentially make a jumper and sell that. People like to buy from people, but you don't need to know them. But if you offer a service, then they kind of do need to know your face. They absolutely need to know who they're buying from. So it'll make you a lot more relatable. And it's honestly, for having that bank of images, it's just it's great to have. So I'd recommend it to anybody.
Oh, that's brilliant. Thank you very much. I'm so glad that, you know, we were able, that I found you found me, and we were able to work together and able to help you really. So it just makes my heart sing when I can do stuff like that. So I think that's it. Unless there's anything else you wanted to add, it's been absolutely fantastic speaking to you and agreeing to do this little interview with me.
Oh no, it's fine. I'm more than happy to do it.